We have now seen the end of one of the most solid MLB relief pitching careers this century. David Robertson has announced that he is hanging up his cleats after a 17-year-long career. Now, before we get in depth talking about David's career, I want to make the note that this is one of those moments for us baseball fans born in the early 2000s where we begin to realize that we truly are getting older. I remember watching David Robertson in the second year of his career, still being a young player, pitch on the World Series stage with the New York Yankees in 2009. And yes, we lose one of the last remaining players from that 2000s and 2010 MLB era that truly was so magical. So today we're going to talk about one of the most underrated relief pitching careers in my opinion, who more than likely will not make the Hall of Fame, but still had one of the more impressive careers for a guy coming out of the bullpen in the 21st century. So during David Robertson's 17-year career in the MLB, he pitched for 8 different teams and was able to be an impact guy out of the bullpen for each one of those destinations. Obviously, he spent the most time with the New York Yankees and will probably be remembered as a New York Yankee relief pitcher in the long run. And as I brought up earlier, he won the World Series with the New York Yankees in 2009 when the Yankees beat the Philadelphia Phillies 4-2. So in looking at the legacy of David Robertson, it's easy to say that he made the biggest impact for the New York Yankees. However, that certainly doesn't mean that he wasn't impressive and wasn't consistent with the other teams that he pitched for, which should be obvious because in order to get contract after contract for 17 seasons in a row, the guy had to be doing something right. Specifically, the 8 teams Robertson pitched for in his career were the Yankees, the White Sox, back to the Yankees, to the Philadelphia Phillies, then the Tampa Bay Rays, then the Chicago Cubs, then back to the Philadelphia Phillies, to the New York Mets, then the Miami Marlins, then the Texas Rangers, and back to the Phillies once again. All that to say, Robertson has quite the experience pitching for a ton of different organizations across the MLB. But we all know the MLB just isn't built on sustainability. You also have to take into consideration the success and the efficiency that player had. So let's take a look at some of the stats that David put up in his long MLB career. Over the 17 seasons, David Robertson was able to pitch 894 innings. Within those innings, he had a very impressive 2.93 career ERA. Now, if you don't know just how impressive that is, this is one of only 7 relievers since the year 2000 to throw over 800 innings with a sub-3 ERA. And we know how uncommon it is for these relief pitchers to have very long careers. So for a guy to go out there and pitch for 17 seasons and have a sub-3 ERA and 894 innings pitched just really speaks to the sustainability, the work ethic, and the perfection of the craft that David Robertson had in the art of relief pitching. Following in those footsteps, he also had a career whip of 1.16. So clearly Robertson had a very successful MLB career, which raises the Hall of Fame question, and that's what I want to talk about next. Ultimately, I believe the chances are very low that David Robertson does become a future Hall of Famer. The reason simply is because just how hard it is for relief pitchers to get inducted to the Hall of Fame. He's not a guy who racked up a ton of saves throughout his career, and while his whip and ERA are very good, they're not of the elite relief pitchers who do end up becoming Hall of Fame pitchers. That said, David Robertson could easily find his way into top 10 lists of relief pitchers over the past couple decades, which clearly deserves a lot of respect. So cheers to David on a fantastic career in the MLB. And the only question remaining is, what are the chances he pops up on a Phillies roster if they make the postseason? I'm kidding a little bit. Anyway, that's all I have for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for weekly MLB content. I will talk to you all very soon. Bye-bye.